Hey guys, this is Roger here. Now I'm interviewing one of the hardest working, if not the hardest working artists in the UK industry. Now, if anybody wants to challenge me, my Instagram is Roger Moore UK or 007, whichever one it is. Do hit me up, and I'm prepared to do arguments because I don't really business about what you think. I'm just saying my opinion, and I am a human being. I'm allowed to do that, and then pray later. But anyway, still, Sarah Teibo is an amazing artist. I like the vibe of what she's doing, and I thought Roger Moore, as you know, is very passionate about artistry, about UK gospel scene. But something I was very concerned about is the what's going on in the UK gospel industry, what's happening to the artists. Artists are struggling right now. We're going into COVID, lockdown. We had tours planned, we had events done, we had albums planned, we had all these things planned. COVID comes along. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? And sister Sarah Teibo, I'll say Sister Teibo, after I have my church manners on there, is going to hopefully enlighten us, a bit about, how she got through Corona. But first and foremost, what are you up to right now? What releases have you done this year thus far? And just explain to me why your Instagram carousel, I love the flow of it, and it went wonky a few months back. What happened, man? I was like, no. Sorry. A few things to explain, but
I'm a very aesthetic kind of thinker. I love symmetry. I love things being decent and in order. So I try and put that on my Instagram. But then I found that I constantly have a lot of content I want to put out at a point in time that the moment is lost when I'm waiting for it to be picture, quotes, picture. Like I need to post this today because I have this, update to share. And I have today's the day for pictures or today's the day for quotes. And I just said, you know what, I'm just going to post whatever I need to post and so be it.
I was like showing off. I always show off your Instagram, by the way. And I'm like,
oh dear. And then you just went and you're like,
wait, no, not today, people. I can't find that post.
You know what? It's like, for me, I just had to make a decision. I had to ask myself, do I want to engage with people in the moment and tell them what they need to know? Or do I just want to show, in some cases, just for the sake of aesthetics, things that are even redundant, just because I want to have a structure.
Okay.
And I think it's good when you're just starting, creating a page and trying to build, a brand, quote unquote, to give people an expectation. And even the way the page is now, it's more or less on brand, because now everyone knows that we're going to get the day-to-day of Sarah on her page, as opposed to a pretty face and a picture and a pretty face and a quote. And it's like, that doesn't really exude any substance per se, as opposed to if you were just giving people, oh, today I've gone for a run and, I've done my kids' hair. This is my life, here's who I am. I'm a normal person. And I think with COVID as well, I think that's partly why I actually said, you know what, let's just put stuff out there. It's because with COVID, it's not a season to try and be looking, in my opinion, try and be looking pretty, like, hey. It's like,
100%.
we're all here, we're all going through this together, and this is how we're feeling today. What can we do to make each other happy and cope with the situation? Again, it's just a personal thing. I just felt, let's just put the content out as it gets created, as I think about it, and just, be a blessing. So yeah, that's, sorry about that, but I had no idea some people were actually watching the structure of my page.
No, there's one person in the whole world. Roger Moore was like, this go, this is the blueprint for UK industry. So just saying to you that I'm just a fan of Instagram. But anyway, so yeah.
Don't worry, I'm gonna go back to a theme. Maybe I'll make all my pictures pink or something.
Okay, cool. Well, it's not my color, but I can work with that.
You can work with that.
I'm saying that. I could do red, but but anyway, but no, that's fantastic, man. Fantastic. So talk to me about releases, man, because did Corona well, not Corona as such, but the lockdown and everything, did that affect your plans for 2020?
Totally. It totally did, because I was booked. I was supposed to go abroad. I had so many things planned. But the funny thing is, there were some actual events abroad that for some reason they kept stalling.
Okay.
And this was back in February, and I kept hearing in my spirit, don't push, don't chase, don't push,
Okay,
don't
good.
chase. And I'm normally that kind of person when I'm like,
Mm.
oh, we have this opportunity, we have this opening, let's do this, let's do that. But I just kept hearing, don't push, don't push, don't. I'm thinking, okay. And then COVID happened. I'm like, well, thank God that I didn't, go and start booking flights, because I'm very proactive. I'm like, I mean, in our family, we were supposed to go on a family holiday to Dubai for Christmas as an entire family, like the entire clan from Canada, UK, US, everyone converge in the most central point, which is Dubai.
Wow.
Everyone can't go to Canada and US and everything. And I was in charge of organizing. That's how very like bam, bam, bam I am. So back in January, I'd booked the Airbnb that we're going to stay in December for Christmas in January. Right, I'd already started saying to people, okay, let's start booking flights, sales are going to be on, and so and so. And then COVID happened, so that's not happening. But that's literally how, even with my, I guess that's how I am just as a person. So even with my music, I'm that kind of person. Okay, here's what it's looking like for the next few months. What can we do? What can we start putting in place? But for some reason, it was like I just kept hearing in my spirit, don't push, don't, if it's not happening, don't chase it, don't push. And I just kind of, okay, God, and that really helped me, because normally I would have started being very proactive and booking flights and booking hotels and I hadn't done any of that, even though I had potential bookings and everything planned for a while. So, but that said, for many artists like myself, what that meant is a loss of revenue, even though we're not doing it for money, but that would have been a way to make money, to make more music. It's just the way it works.
Of course.
So that definitely was a big punch, a big blow for many artists, not just gospel artists, but globally. And I think it just meant we had to rethink how we, make our product offerings, or how we reach our market, or we reach our fans and followers. Really, is what if we don't have those platforms? What can we do? What can we do differently if we don't have those platforms to showcase the gifting, to share with the world what God has given us? And I think for me, it was also a big challenge, because I planned to have an album out this year. I planned to have a number of songs out before the album came out, but because of COVID, we couldn't go into studio. So we were locked down. So there was no going into studio. So Spirit, which is the first single from the next album, it literally was the only song that we could release at the time, because the whole plan was basically
messed up.
It was literally kind of drawn out because we couldn't go into studio. So now the album's coming out next year. It should have come out this year. And again, I'm not the only one in that situation. I can imagine many artists have been kind of stalled in terms of their ability to go into studio, to create music, and even budget-wise, because the money's not coming in. So where's the money to make the music? It's a vicious cycle, So it's been a tough season for artists, I have to say, for creatives in general, because not just artists, people in theater, comedians, people who just do stuff that
who
require interacting with people and entertaining.
Here's a response to that for me. Do you feel that some of the elements, like for me, some elements of the music world, they've just really, I'm not saying it's happened, that they have other platforms and they've utilized them very quickly.
I totally agree.
You know what I'm saying? They've transitioned in literally 2-3 weeks. They transitioned. We looked at the American gospel market. Before you know it, they're all doing COVID videos. You know what I mean? They're all doing lockdown videos and whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, we look left to right in the UK. Where's our lockdown videos? Where's our... and I'm not saying there isn't any, but it took quite a while to assemble. We had great home videos, which I'm not a fan of. But which is... It's such a goal, you know what I mean? Everybody with that showing off they got AirPods, you know what I mean? Whatever they still, but and singing on it. So which I think, it works with what we need to work with. But what do you feel that we haven't really explored the ever? Because I still believe artists are influencers. Not artists anymore. Artistry is gone now. You cannot just be a singer. You need to realize that you are an influencer on young people, on people your age. Your Instagrams and Twitter has to be a lot more transparent about your day-to-day life. You can't just keep it private and that's it and just sing, because people won't get the journey. Do you feel that this has now diversified because a few artists in America, for example, somebody I like, Ruslan, they do a Patreon. He does a Patreon system that he did from a year or two ago, and he does videos for people. And now people jumping onto the Patreon thing. But I'm like, wow, that's been around for a while. You should have, you know what I mean, had this going at the same time. is there any other sources that you found as an artist which you've pulled into, or you've seen people in the UK pull into?
I think for me, it's taken a while. But I know that at the start, there were a number of artists that jumped on very quickly and started doing things like leading worship online, having lots of live sort of videos. Some had regular lives like every Thursday, every Friday, going and doing worship on Instagram. I know of artists who started having talk shows and just chatting to people to find out how they were coping, which is needed. I know it felt like everyone became a chat show host, but the conversations were needed because you need to remember people are locked in their homes. That social element is gone. And some people thrive on having chats with people. So if you have a platform, you have so many followers, and you can imagine other people are similar to yourself in that they need to see those conversations happening, then you might as well use your platform to create that, because at the end of the day, that's another outlet for many people. So I think we did kind of respond. We had a lot of collaboration videos, even though they may not have had as much of exposure as they could have. I know Lorraine Cater, for example, did at least 3. She did one with the nurses. She did one with the kids. My kids were even in that one. And then I think she did another one, Rated by Faithfulness. So to be fair to the UK artists, I think you're being a bit harsh. To be fair to the UK artists, we have actually stepped up to the plate. Lorraine Cato deserves all the accolades, and I hope she watches this, because she actually stepped in and did things even outside of the Christian space with the NHS and things like that.
Yeah, brilliant.
3 whole videos she did. We had one which was The Blessing, which again, a lot of Christians across the UK, not just gospel, Christian artists, CCM and everything, they did something similar to, I think many people were doing The Blessing, the Elevation Church song, and we did one from the UK as well. And again, each individual in their own little way was going online and creating content and engaging with fans. I don't think we all went into a hole and went and sat down somewhere and didn't do anything. We did respond. We need to remember that all UK, well, not all, I tell a lie, most UK artists haven't got massive platforms. You know, the biggest artist you'd see in the UK may not have 1 million followers. I don't know a UK gospel artist. There probably is, but maybe I just don't know them. No. Exactly, or even 500,000. But on average, the artist that you're probably talking about on average would have like 100,000 followers. And so
even less, like less than that.
Well, hey, I mean, just on average in the US, the kind of artists that we tend to be compared with have massive clout and massive following. So, you know, those are the kind of things that needs to be kind of considered when having these comparisons and these conversations. So I think for us, we did step up to the plate. We may not have had as much reach because we only have on average maybe 5,000 followers across the board, give or take, per platform. But we did do what we needed to do. I personally didn't really go out and do what's it called now, lots and lots of work. In fact, as a matter of fact, I only did one worship, and it's because a platform was doing a virtual festival. That's another thing we did in the UK, which I forgot. We had lots of virtual festivals. Gospel Hydration had a virtual festival. One other platform which I actually sang on had a virtual festival. Big Church Day Out had a virtual festival. So there are a number of platforms that should have had it in person or in the flesh, which ended up having it virtually. So all of that happened as well. And I think that was the one time I actually did worship on live on Instagram. I think just because of the kind of person I am, if I don't have all the gadgets and equipment to do something properly, I just don't do it at all. So I didn't actually jump on and do these things just because I don't have the equipment. And again, it was lockdown. It was not like normal situations where you're like, oh, I want to do this thing, and then you can get people and, you know, get it done. It's like, well, I'm here in my house by myself. I can't ask anyone to come and play guitar. So you know, it was just a case of do what you can with what you have. But that said, now that it seems like this is the new normal, people are now in the UK starting to rethink how we can adapt and respond. If this is actually the new normal, how can we create content to respond to this kind of scenario? So we have artists like Victoria Tunde doing a virtual worship session that was pre-recorded and then streamed as live. We have HFP, that's Called Out Music's label. They're doing a worship event as well. That's probably going to be streamed and recorded and streamed as live, I'm guessing. So now that we've kind of evaluated, because I think everyone was thinking it would be only a few weeks and we'll be done and we're back to normal. But things have kind of transpired to the point where like, okay, you know what, we need to re-strategize and be like, if this is going to be our plan B perpetually, then let's always have this as plan B. And therefore, what can we get in place to always be able to jump in and do things virtually? You know, so I think, to be fair to the UK scene, we have done what we can given the limited resources that we have, and we're even responding better now and almost standardizing virtual options for,
virtual
yeah,
options,
exactly.
Do you feel that, you know, the live festivals are cool for me because, you know, festivals are festivals. One thing I'm concerned about when it comes to live streaming stuff, especially free live streaming stuff, is that it cheapens the public's value of the artist. That's my biggest concern. Not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just that's a concern for me. But as you as an artist, how do you feel about? Because if your value,
exactly in that place.
Okay,
I have the complete same view, and not to say that artists are bigger than themselves or whatever,
correct,
larger than life. But the truth is, if you went to a physical event, you'd pay to get, you know, to get access. And also these things, even if you're going to stream an event, it would cost you money somehow or another, especially if you're not putting it on Facebook or YouTube, because those are free platforms. I, for example, have got a live stream Christmas carol that will be happening in December, and it's ticketed, and lots of people have bought tickets already. Some people have bought 5 tickets that they're going to gift to people so they can actually attend. Somebody's bought tickets for people, as sent it to her colleagues at work to get tickets as well.
So explain a bit more. About the Christmas carol. Is that going to be like a hour-long event, or is it sing-along?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
No.
Okay, brilliant.
And the thing is, it can be sing-along as well, because the vision I have is that these would be 80% carols that people would normally sing along to. So prior to the event, I will be emailing everyone who's got tickets, the songs, literally all the songs, including the ones that, including my debut Christmas single. So they can all have the lyrics. If they want to sing along to my Christmas single, they can. But I think the important thing is with carols, it's all about singing along and having that experience of it being immersive, which is another reason why I've made it an exclusive live stream. So everyone gets a unique passcode and password to log in to get access, and it's not going to be having comments and likes and hearts that take away from the experience, because when you're in a concert, you're in the moment, which is why when I go to gigs, I don't look at the concert through my phone. I put my phone away and I just enjoy the moment. And I think that's how we need to enjoy events, not looking at it through a phone. Just be there in the moment. I think there was a time, I think it was Jill Scott or Layla Hathaway or somebody who had a concert and told everyone not to bring out their phones, just enjoy. That's why you paid. Literally, the artist said, you paid to come see me. Put your gadgets down and let's enjoy this, because it's become our thing. We're somewhere, but we're how can you? I mean, the person is there in the flesh, and you're looking at them through a phone just because you want to capture, you know. So I think, and that's another reason for me having it as an exclusive live stream, is that there's no distractions by way of comments or hearts or likes or anything like that. It's just. And, you know, you're in your living room, but you are also with your family enjoying a carol service and just making the most of what could be a very drab Christmas time if lockdown continues, you know.
100%. So just what date is that, sorry?
It's the 12th of December.
12th of December. So just making sure you sing Silent Night and Hark the Angel, Herald the Angel Sing.
Hark the Herald is going to be sung.
And you're basically saying you're not going to sing Silent Night. How can you not sing? Anyway, so no. I always say, but anyway, but look, no, that's fantastic. I think for myself is that I'm gonna be like, go on there, sing along. So where does Roger go to kind of download this and get
the tickets? Yeah. So there's a number of different ways. I think the easiest way for most people, because I know 90% of people are on Instagram, is to go to my Instagram page at Sarah Teibo Music, and in my link tree at the top in my bio, there's a link. The very first menu takes you to my campaign, where you can get tickets to the Christmas Carol. The entire campaign is a whole different thing altogether. So I'm doing a Christmas music video dedicated to the kids of lockdown. I'm partnering with a charity in the UK to raise awareness of child health inequalities and raise funds for them. Oh, wow. And so when you click on that link, it will take you to a whole campaign that I'm doing, where you can buy different kinds of merch, including tickets to the live stream. You can buy Christmas candles, you can buy Spirit Com t-shirts in French, a few other things, which are all going towards that campaign, basically. So I didn't want to talk about that now, but essentially, when you click on that link, it takes you there. Or you could go to my website, sarahtaber.co.uk/gigs. It'll take you there as well. Or you could go to rocketfuelhq.com/Sarah. It'll take you there. So, but the easiest one is Instagram, Sarah Teibo Music. Click in the link in my bio, and that would lead you to the right place.
That sounds good with me. That sounds fantastic. I think that for everyone out there, definitely support. And I think that's something to which I have to salute you from is really recognizing the value of you as an artist. I think that it's very easy to make knee-jerk reactions in this period, but sometimes, you know, sometimes I always say to people, I says, you know, when you're young and you want to run out there and do a million things, sometimes it's better to pause to see what the scene is, because I do feel that this is not going to change anything. I'm a promoter, Sarah, to be honest, and I'm not looking at doing no shows for the next, not forget 2021. I'm not even going to approach it. I'm talking at 2022, and that messes up people like yourself. Like if promoters are too scared to put it on, because we don't want to invest in something where Corona comes along and they can just pull it down. And I feel that the scene is there. Now, you mentioned about the scene being pressured by COVID. Now, here's a bit of a something that came to my mind when you was talking about the you know, the lockdown syndrome that we was facing, is that amongst that we had the Black Lives Matter syndrome. It seems so far away. I have very open opinions about that period.
I haven't heard them.
So I do believe, you know, I'm very frustrated about the Christian UK scene in terms of their response towards Black Lives Matter. I think the more focal point was about, you know, the status of Black Lives Matter, the organization, than actually what the cause it was all about. And I think that, you know, I've heard too often from Christians, all lives matter. And I think that's not the point. The point is that at this moment in time, as a nation, as Black people, our lives are substandard to a lot of people in countries, in European countries that are not even European countries, i.e. America, but also over here. Myself, a young Black guy, you know, I'm frustrated that my sons are facing the same society that I faced, leaving out. It should not be the case. And I got 2 sons, and it's okay for you as a white person to say, okay, it's okay, all lives matter, God's bless you, this, that, and the other, I can't see nothing, when it's not your sons that could be incarcerated 10 times more chance to get incarcerated just because of their color. You know, if you're cool, if you can sleep on that, well, you know, when I can't sleep if you're on the streets, but you can sleep if my sons are being locked up. That's just one little illustration of where I'm at. But for yourself now, as an artist, seeing all this come out, and I know people have their opinions. I haven't seen too many tracks by Black artists in the UK to respond to this. I've done a lot of hope tracks, but no real talk tracks. What do you feel that, are we addressing this? Or do you feel, from your standpoint, are we just trying to get through it and get through it? That's, you know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different things to consider. The first being, most Christian/gospel artists try not to dabble into politics to a large extent, and with reason, because most gospel or Christian artists stand in front of a stage or an audience of many people with different views, and they don't want to side one group at the detriment of another group. So they try to be tactful and just, you know, try and take a middle ground, almost.
Yeah, PC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just try and take a middle ground. And that's literally how lots of ministers and pastors found themselves in this season. I know it's easy for us as Black people to say, well, the church hasn't done anything. But then if you put yourself in, and I'm not advocating for anything, but I'm just trying to picture or imagine, you know, a pastor of a church which is diverse. Now, he can't come up and be up in arms, you know, screaming Black Lives Matter. What would the white people in church feel? Not to say that we shouldn't consider them, or we should consider them, but it's like they just need to really think through the most tactful and the most almost all-encompassing kind of response to give to the situation that appeases everyone, and that's almost impossible to achieve. So and that's why most people go down the route of, well, let's just support the Black Lives Matter cause. The problem with that is that it tends to be a thing for a moment, and then I want to pacify everyone, so I'm just going to go down the route of Black Lives Matter. I really don't care after 6 months, kind of thing. And that's the reality. 100%. And that's why we're in this kind of cyclical situation, which is why sometimes when you speak to somebody from the church, they would go down the route of all lives matter, in the sense that if we have that viewpoint and you care for everyone the same way that Christ in the parable of the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan, talks about loving your neighbor. So it doesn't matter where the person is from. As a matter of fact, Samaritans and the Jews were proper enemies.
That's it.
And Jesus was trying to say, these people who have been stigmatized as enemies are the ones that you should love. And that's why people who come from the All Lives Matter viewpoint, if you have that, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but if you have that mindset about everyone being important and everyone's life being of value, you're very likely to have that mindset for your entire life and not for a season. And therefore, you're very likely to treat everyone with decorum and with respect. And in reality, that is the cardinal law when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't go love one race more than the other or love one gender more than the other. It's love everyone. So at the minute when that thing is happening, everyone is boiling and everyone is angry and everyone wants everyone else to say the same thing, which is Black Lives Matter. The question I tend to ask is 6 months down the line, what is our underpinning viewpoint? What is our underpinning worldview? What is our underpinning, principle? Are we thinking about strategies that would ensure that all our young men are catered for? Black, white, purple, green. Because the truth is, if we're only looking at one side of the spectrum, it would only last so long before it kind of wears out. So that's the kind of viewpoint that I have, which I know sometimes when people talk All Lives Matter, they don't explain it properly. And that's why, you get a response like, no, but it's like, what if we think about perpetuity? Like, what are we doing for the human race? And how do we then prioritize? If we have a plan to say, okay, this is London. Most of the gang violence is among Black boys, right? And we want to make sure that all our young men live to so-and-so age. We want to try and focus on the Black areas first and make sure that they either get the kind of youth groups that they need, they get the kind of counseling, they get the kind of mentoring if there's a father missing in the home, which is causing these kind of things. Let's get that done as a project in the next 5-10 years. What are we doing for the boys of so-and-so race? What are we doing for people of so-and-so? And then we have an all-encompassing plan. You'd find that there's more consistency than if we're just jumping up and responding to one thing. And in all honesty, it just dies down after a few months and then it's gone and then it comes again. There's no long-lasting plan. And a long-lasting plan usually comes when it's very holistic, when it kind of covers everyone. People don't want to hear that. So then people just don't say anything, That's where I come from anyway.
Okay, that's cool, man. I agree with what you're saying, and I think I have no issues with what you're saying at all. I think just to build on top of what you're saying, where I believe is that basically that we need we've almost been everything's great within the four walls of the church, but when you see that there, it's that doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like it's a different world, and it's like you cool, everyone hugs and kiss each other no matter what the color of the creed are, everyone's happy. But it's just being able to stand up and saying, hold on a second, if women were being mistreated on a certain corner, whatever they're still, we will protest that they're being mistreated a certain way. It needs to stop. If we're going against certain things in the community, whatever. So, and this is a community thing, not even a church thing. And that's just me. I feel that we're just not doing enough to, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. I think we don't have enough initiatives to respond. So we do the protests and we make all the noise, but what are the initiatives? Which is why I like what Seth Pinnock did, where he launched the whole campaign to educate and do some extra tuition for Black boys specifically. He didn't just jump up and go up in arms and talk on Twitter and lament and rant.
He created an initiative and did something
proactive. So I think that amongst us, what we can do, in addition to all the the
waving
protest
flag,
and the flag waving, is actually something that we can, something lasting
action plan.
Because the truth is, if we're only thinking, this, that, and the third, in a matter of time, it's just going to fade. And then what happens next? So this is where the church comes in. What kind of plans does the church have outside of conventions and annual concerts, right, that actually go into the community, that 100%. Actually target young people, and that you've got, see the thing, because I'm like a strategist in my day job, right? And long-term planning is very key, even in any country, in any industry, in any company. You need to have like a 10-year long-term plan, and then you break it down into chunks. And I think in order to address this issue, if a church, for example, was going to step in, you need to have a strategy that goes quite far into the future, and then you can work backwards. If we had that kind of approach, you'd find these problems would probably dissipate over time, because we're not giving up. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this for the next 10 years, and we just keep pushing and pushing. You begin to see a change. You know, if we're getting just sporadic responses to situations, we make noise and we go back to our homes, and never would change come, not in a million years.
Oh, 100. You know, I do think strategy. I think one of the biggest frustrations for me is not just looking outside the church, the Black-led church or the Black community, is within our own community, and we need to step up, and we need to take responsibility. When we take up our position and our action points, you know what I mean, then things can 100% change, 1000%, sis. But what I want to do, something you said about a charity now, you was talking about you'll be some charitable cause, which you did mention that's connected to your launch of your next product, your single, which is amazing. But artists in the UK is doing a Christmas song. Usually they don't avoid this. I don't know if it's a politically correct thing. We don't do Christmas songs. Sorry, that's just me being teasy. But yeah, you said you're doing a cause, and you mentioned about children or something. Did you mention about there?
Yes. So basically, for my Christmas single, the song is called Hear the Sound. I am partnering with a UK charity called Best Beginnings. Basically, even before I got to partner with the charity, I had a huge burden for young kids in lockdown, the kids of lockdown, as we like to call them, because below a certain age, kids don't have phones, they don't have Zoom, they don't have social media, and they're sitting in a house all by themselves. If they live in a block of flats, they can't even go outside. I mean, if you live in a house, you can go to the back garden. During the lockdown period, these kids were holed up in a house, you know, from the age of 1 through probably 10, right? No interaction with friends. You know, kids are designed to be spitting in each other's face and rolling in the mud, right? They can't do any of that. It's the truth. Picking their noses and eating their bogey. They can't do any of that because they're having to wash their hands and use hand sanitizers and just be like, what in the haberdasheries? This is not how kids should live. And I feel like that it's been really tough for kids. And it turns out Best Beginnings did a research, did a sort of study, a survey, and found that 7 out of 10 families with young kids found lockdown really, really tough.
Of course,
And what this charity does is they help reduce the inequalities in child health. They provide resources to parents to help them in different areas when it comes to parenting young kids. And so I decided to partner with them to help them raise money to do more work and reach more families. To date, they've reached 3 million families in the UK in terms of reaching out and supporting. They have an app called Bump Buddy or something that has about 300,000 downloads, which means that many families are actually using the app to get information and resources that will be useful for them, especially in lockdown where help is actually very rare. If you're a new mom, you can't even get your mom helping out because there's in some part and they can't travel or whatever. So having those kind of resources to their at their beck and call is really handy. So for every sale of every single on of the Christmas single, a donation will be made to the charity. I'm trying to get to £25,000, but that means I need to sell so many copies of the single.
That's a lot of singles. Your people buy the single. Buy the single. That's a lot,
exactly.
Christmas #1, Sarah Teibo. Let's do it,
in
man.
Jesus' name. So it's not a case of streaming now. We need to kind of raise the money, because the way things are going is these kind of platforms that would be able to provide the support families need. Because if midwives can't go out, if, you know, because of COVID, there's restrictions on the health visitors being able to come in, and parents are struggling. I had my kids under normal circumstances, and even I struggled. I had the midwives coming, and even I got depressed. So imagine if you don't have any of that, and you don't have somebody you can call, somebody who can, you know, be there as even if it's a virtual assistant in that moment. And these are the kind of things that Best Beginnings does. Essentially, they're helping kids get the best beginning in life. So that's why I'm partnering with them. And so when the single is out, it will be out for pre-order from the 4th of December. And then it will be out for download on the 18th of December. And we're hoping that we
can't dance through. You can't dance through Christmas. You're
gonna have the song on repeat from the whole idea is that it's going to be so concentrated from the 18th to the 25th and after. If you want, you can just dance to the song every day. I think it would probably be rinsed if you bring it out too early. But the whole idea is to kind of build up, hopefully, some momentum and get as much pre-orders as we can, so that on day one we've got enough,
100%.
hopefully enough sales to be able to give back to the charity. But that's essentially what I'm really passionate about. And even my entire Christmas is about making Christmas 2020 special for the kids of lockdown. So on Saturday, I just shot a music video for the song, which has a lot of kids. And the music video director messaged me yesterday. You would see it on my Facebook, because I took a screenshot of the message, and he said, this video is giving me chills as I'm editing it. I've never had a music video director message me to say he's getting chills editing the video, because we wanted the kids to have a great time, and we wanted other kids to pull that energy when they watch it as well, you know. So I'm glad that at least in its creative phase, it's doing that. So hopefully when it's done, it would achieve even more.
And you know, sis, I did not know this, guys, by the way. So just let everyone know this is not set up. I didn't have a clue that this was going on. Something I do salute you with this, and I think that, you know, an example to a lot of artists out there. And you know what, we kind of do tend to moan about churches not doing this, not doing that, and not doing this, and I salute you for actually turning something around and actually still supporting people in this period. I think this period is about, you know, even though we don't really have much, but God will put the increase on top of it. And for me as well, it bring awareness for a lot of us, a lot of artists, to actually look at not just doing those stereotypical, like, you know, oh, I'm going to quickly jump on something here and whatever, but actually to really think, I know things are tough, I know things are hard, and sometimes it's about fighting your way out. There's something by this period, it's about the pain that we're going through, you know, are we all going through pain, you know, as much as I know you're doing things, the effort that you have to do to motivate just to get up in the morning, it is absolutely hard enough, let alone actually sewing into people. So sewing into people is amazingly hard, and I have to salute you to actually be thinking about somebody else, because a lot of times people are just looking after themselves these days, and just to get through. And I have to salute you for doing that, sis, man. I appreciate it. And I'd say to people, just to I will, you know, as one of the main dudes at Affinity Radio, Affinity Extra, sorry, a radio, well, hopefully easy. But anyway, Affinity Extra, you know, I'll beat up everyone, and we'll make sure we'll really promote your stuff on 100%. And we want to promote that single, and I know that, you know, wherever it ends up to be, you know, I mean, that's the heart of it. It'll be a blessing for the cause and for young people. And you know, dare I say, you know, we're here to take care of the fatherless, the people that we've less, you know, and that's got to be our heart. And without that compassion, you know, are we really Christ-like, you know? And that's a challenge in there, you know, and this is why, you know, absolutely love it. So guys, I haven't seen the video, so I didn't even know what it's really about, and so it's absolutely going to be crazy. And so you've got literally December's gonna be a mad one for yourself. You've got your music video launch alongside with the single, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be both the 18th
and the live stream of the Christmas Carol on the 12th,
on the 12th. So, you know, if you're gonna sing some rom-pom-pom tunes or whatever tunes like that, still, you know, I would start to sing my my Silent Night verse, but you know, yeah, everybody knows my voice on the station, you know, it's kind of, you know, I need a little help, but we're just trying to work on a new effect called auto tune, so it does live auto tunes on my phone. Just help me out.
Good luck with that.
You know what I'm saying? So but no, sis, appreciate, you know, I mean, the time. And also, actually, before we go, I know your Nigerian background and whatever, there's still, so you probably been battered left, right, and center over the past 6 months, you know, I mean, what's been going on in this world right now.
Oh goodness,
you know what I'm saying? How was the SARS scenario for yourself, you know, personally?
That broke me, I have to say. I said earlier that my eyes are watering now. I said earlier that we don't dabble into politics. For the first time, I actually dabbled, and I went on and did a number of lives. I couldn't go to the protests because I had school runs and things like that, but I live streamed the protests on my Instagram. I posted and constantly reposted as much information as I could, because it's really, really sad, the things that happen in Nigeria. I mean, even though I was born in the UK, I grew up in Nigeria, and I've seen firsthand how useless the government is. Absolutely useless, which is why there's so many Nigerians here. I mean, the weather's nice there, the food is nice there. Why are we here? If it wasn't that the government is so corrupt that you can't even, I mean, you graduate from a uni and you can't even get a good job unless you know somebody who knows somebody. It's like, what's the point? That's why you find so many professionals from Nigeria doing really well in other parts of the world, but then in their own country, they can't even get a job. you know. But I mean, that really broke me. I cried so hard. I prayed. I was angry. All the emotions you can possibly think of. I even, you know, it got to a point I called a friend of mine because I couldn't even take it anymore. I called it and I just cried on the phone to her. It's like,
wow,
what is this? Because the things I saw, the images that I saw
was just inhumane in it. Yeah, it's
they
just
were
like,
absolutely sickening. And then to make matters worse, the government said that was fake news. You can't fake things like that. You can't fake a military person live streaming themselves shooting people point blank. I mean, the shot was from the actual soldiers' side of the crowd. You know, I mean, it's disheartening. And I'm constantly praying that change comes to Nigeria, because this has been going on. I mean, SARS is almost like the climax, but the injustices have been going on perpetually as far back as the independence or just before. So we might be independent from the empire, but now we're colonized by evil, you know, tyrants of leaders who keep passing it on to their children and the children after them. There's poor healthcare, bad roads, poor education. Everything is just, you need to be within a certain clique to actually be able to survive in Nigeria.
Wow,
you know, it's really
man, no, Lord, man. So we got guys. I don't want to even end up on that note, man. You know,
I know that.
I know. I was like, people.
Why did you ask me that question at the end?
Right. So no,
it was needed though. It was needed.
No, 100%. And I think just to really definitely end up on a positive, man, just really salute you, sis, because sometimes people don't realize that, you know, Sarah's gone quiet, what she going through, just having you got children locked down, then you've had Black Lives Matter headache going on and trying to explain why you're black and what is black, you know what I'm saying, and is African people and Caribbean are we the same people, all these explanations.
People, anyway.
Exactly, you know, but due to miseducation, why we think we're different. Anyway, not we, but you know what I mean, through you know what I mean, we just, it's so funny. We was talking to anyway, there's some stories. You ask Caribbean elders and you're African, like, no, not quite. I'm not quite. And you think, yeah. It's deep, man. It's deep.
Okay.
You say we've been conned. But yeah. So just going through that period, and also what to top of SARS, you know, situation, saga, and Nigeria, through all that, you're still sewing into into a charity, looking after young children. You know what I mean? No matter what color or whatever they are, creed, religion, no matter who they are, you're sewing into it. So it's not for black kids only, for any kids in with low income families and whatsoever. And you're sewing into that through your single, which is one of I don't know if you're going to be the only artist in the UK that can.
No, I don't think so. I'm sure there's many. Whenever people tell me, "Sorry, the only person to do this, that, and the third," I'm like, "No, I'm sure there's other people who've done it before me."
Right, if it's going to be official now, we're just going to hold this sample. It's going to sample this, and they're going to go, right, Sarah. Right, just answer this back for me. How come you're the only person, as I said, but no, it's tough to even bring out the normal tracks. So, you know, just to see that you're going through that toughness. I sleep to every artist that will want to boost the Christian message. And on the top of that, you got to do a carol service. Like, I'm going to make sure I have some cake and coffee and come there.
Hot chocolate. And that's exactly what I want people to do. Make yourself cozy. Put some candles on. That's why I've got those candles on my website as well. Christmas candles. Just put them on.
That's beautiful.
Do the carol.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, man. So we're gonna be celebrating Christmas, and then we're gonna have what's a traditional dish on Christmas Day from Nigerians?
Rice and chicken.
Rice and chicken.
And the chicken is freshly killed in the backyard. This is not like bought from the stores. So we go to the market and buy the chicken. We get it killed. Sometimes you buy like a week in advance. You feed it fat, and then you kill it on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning.
I'm just imagining Sarah Teibo with her butcher's knife, you know what I mean, with an apron with blood stains, you know what I'm saying, and chasing down the chicken and going to her children, go for your first kill. My dad did say stories about this, about cut off the neck and you see the chicken still running around the place.
Running around, yeah.
Now, people do not vex Sarah Teibo because don't go to her yard, might get chopped. No. But no, so while Sarah Teibo was having fresh chicken, I won't be having chicken not as fresh as that. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I could. My neighbors would probably call the police officer.
So rice and peas and everything like that. So that's for myself anyway. So it'd be jollof rice for yourself as well.
It'd be jollof rice with chicken.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
probably get it from Asda, but anyway.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, that's the way. I mean, let me just have a quick poll with you. Is it Ghanaian or Nigerian jollof rice?
Don't ask me because I'm a quarter Ghanaian.
Okay.
What I will say is that jollof rice apparently originated from Senegal. So they are the originators of jollof rice, apparently. So I'm told. So there we can leave the debate.
You are so politically correct. It's unbelievable, sis. It is
wrong.
So.
I don't like that. It's not comment.
She's a supporter of the Lib Dems. Just the greatness. Just gotta. It doesn't pick a side, you know.
You know what it is? Yeah. I'm like Christ. Christ is that if you watch Christ, if you studied Christ, you'd find that when you come to him and ask him, should you pay taxes or not? And he asks you, give me your coin. Whose face is on the coin? There's your answer. Do with that what you want. I'm like my father. My father is the God of all races and all creeds. So go figure.
All right, man. All right, dude. Like, no, this is what I'm saying. This is why, guys, I just love conversation with Sarah Teibo. That's why I had to get her on first, man. You know, when it comes to artistry, you know, 100%. But sis, I'm just praying that we have a great time. We're gonna be supporting you from Affinity Xtra, 100%. And you got the whole Queen Nation. We've got a number of presenters that love what you're doing. Myself, I love what you're doing. Keep on going, and we're gonna try and back you 100%. And thank you for your time right about now, doing this interview with myself, me trying to make this thing work on Zoom and whatever. So yeah, as much as I love Zoom, but even BBC does Zoom meetings now. I'm like, oh really? On Zoom interviews, it's crazy, you know.
This is the new normal, isn't it?
Oh no, man. Make sure you got fiber. So good services, you know. But listen, thanks again, and everyone, check out Sarah Teibo music, and that's. Can you spell it out for us, because people like myself will get it totally wrong?
So that's Sarah, Sarah, T for Tango, E for Echo, I for India, B for Bravo, O for Oscar, music. On all platforms.
100%, man. That's brilliant, sis. Yeah. This is enough love from myself, from the Crew Nation. This is Roger Warner, Ed Show, alongside my sister, Sarah Teibo, who's going to have an amazing Instagram ready for me in 2021. Back to organization, you know what I'm saying? But enough love, sis, and thanks again, man.
No worries.
God bless you.
God bless you too.